Hey there! Welcome back to Reddit Dating, best channel for cheating stories. Make sure to like and subscribe the channel for more spicy stories. My male 23Y female 2 did it with 2 other people behind my back. So, to give you some background, I married her back in November of 2020, and we've been on a bumpy road trying to establish stability in both of our lives for quite some time. We come from varied backgrounds and are aware of our variances in how we make decisions about what to do and what not to do. So the narrative goes as follows. A few months after our wedding, we decided to have a little party in February for my 2 work pals. We enjoyed a few drinks and played a drinking game in which we took shots or swigs of whatever booze we happened to have on hand. My buddies and I had gotten to the point where we were really intoxicated, and I asked them to stay the night because I didn't want them to get a DUI. Even I, as a lightweight, had reached the point of no return and had stumbled to my room in order to rest. However, after coming to my room, I did wake up once or twice. I have a fuzzy memory and can't recall much. To alert my wife to come back in because she wasn't right next to me. I really wish I hadn't because my wife was right there doing it with 2 of my coworkers when I made the decision. She came to a halt, climbed to her feet, and helped me back to my bed. The booze had me convinced it was some sort of horrific nightmare, and I didn't want to think about it again because it was such a traumatic memory. When I woke up the next morning, I noticed that she was sleeping right next to me. I gently roused her from her sleep and inquired as to why she had stayed up so late the night before. During the night, she said she was getting ready for bed while also putting me back to sleep and staying with me. I even inquired as to whether she had done it with my friends, to which she replied emphatically that she had not. I even asked them, and none of them had any recollection of it. For what seemed like an eternity, I struggled to tell myself that it was all a bad dream and that I was simply overthinking the possibilities of what could have happened. I convinced myself that drinking was some sort of poison and that I would never do it again. I tried everything I could to just forget about it, and it has been killing me every waking moment, since anything so vivid as that would haunt me for months on end. Before I knew it, I was in the middle of a field training exercise military that would last approximately 4 weeks in a remote area. I had 2 friends, M24 and F22, who had recently been married, and I invited them to stay at my house until they could acquire a place of their own. I've already been told a slew of stories about what my wife was saying behind my back and what she was doing behind my back after only 2 weeks of marriage. My friend also stated that she contacted his wife about the situation with my pals and that she was instructed not to tell anybody else. Me, when out in the middle of nowhere, fell into a condition of anxiety, minor depression, which the doctors are monitoring, a lack of ambition, and a want to simply end it all. I knew that wasn't the correct thing to do, but what in the world was I expected to do? Just keep your cool and accept that my wife lied about doing it. In the end, I decided to keep a very long gap between myself and her for the balance of my time working remotely and said forget it, I'm filing for divorce. I had it completed, and when I went home, I confronted her about the matter with my 2 friends, a married couple, who were also present. To summarize, she wanted to tell me that she made a mistake and lied about it, that the backtalking was not harmful, and that the other things mentioned by the couple were not true. I honestly don't know what to believe or who to put my faith in. It's the 15th of July, and the last time I confronted her was a month and a half ago. We are still together, and there have been countless occasions when I have strongly decided that enough is enough. But she keeps on talking about how she wouldn't be alive if it weren't for me, which makes me feel like I'm committing a crime against humanity. I honestly don't know if I want this any longer. My trust has been shattered as a result of it, and she is constantly blaming me for it. What should I do? Afterwards, I informed her that I desired a divorce, and she left the house. She then called a divorce law company, and I am planning to retain an attorney on Friday after securing some funds to begin the process. Thank you all for your responses, and yes, I'm not the most confident when it comes to confrontations, which is why I posed the question. Story 2. So I, 20M, went out drinking with a number of my friends, and we all came home completely wasted. I live with my girlfriend, and I was extremely inebriated when I returned home. My friends took me to my room and then left. My girlfriend, 19F, had a group of 2 or 3 pals over for dinner. In the end, I puked on myself, and when my girlfriend came to check on me, she noticed that I had puked on myself. As a result, she and her pals dragged me to the bathroom, stripped me of all my clothes, and soaked me in a bath. Like cleaning everything clean with a sponge bath, when buttocks are exposed. I was only half conscious and half aware of what was going on at the moment, and I was scarcely able to move at all. Stop and no were whispered several times, but I don't believe they were taken seriously. Even inebriated me felt embarrassed to be naked in front of everyone, including my girlfriend's face. Therefore, they cleaned me and then placed me in bed with a blanket over my head, without putting any clothes on me. I woke up the next morning hungover and realized I had been sleeping naked under the covers. My girlfriend and her friends had slept over, they were having a movie night, and they were already up when I got home. I quickly changed into my clothes. They all burst out laughing, and I felt a pang of self-consciousness. One of them complimented me and stated that I was attractive, and I was flattered. I informed them that I was completely dissatisfied with what they had done. As soon as they saw me, their attitudes changed, and they all started shrieking that they had just aided me and that I had no way of standing up for myself. I stressed that they were not permitted to wash me without my agreement, especially if I was able to communicate and was planning to speak with someone about it. I was refused. They erupted in rage, but I pushed by them and walked away. Despite the fact that I haven't returned yet, I've received a deluge of text messages pleading with me not to do anything. Everyone says that when you're drunk, your pals are supposed to come over and help you clean yourself up. So now I'm wondering if I should go ahead and do it. Is it necessary for me to do something about this? What am I supposed to do? Is it terrible that I'm feeling exposed? Edit. To address some often asked questions, I was not flailing or thrashing around or puking. I was completely motionless. All I could see was hazy fog, and I told them no, but I wasn't actually moving. I don't get this drunk on a regular basis, and I appreciate everyone who has pointed the finger at me. I'm in college, and every now and then we go out and have a bit too much fun. We've all had those days where we felt sick to our stomachs. It happens. My girlfriend could have simply taken care of me by herself in the shower. There are others who argue that switching the genders isn't the same as flipping the roles because one male may bathe a drunken woman. I had no intention of fighting, so she might do the same. I've bathed her a couple of times, and I've asked her pals to leave as well, out of respect for her privacy. It is not the same as having doctors perform the procedure. Doctors are highly qualified medical professionals, and my girlfriend's friends are not my family. We're not friends. They are her friends. We don't say much to each other. I have my own room. I puked in my own room, and we don't share it with anyone else. For those who are interested, my height and weight are 5'11" and 138 pounds. My girlfriend is 5'7" and weighs 124 pounds. Update. Hi again, everyone. I'm the little crybaby whose girlfriend and her friends gave me a group bath. Sound weird yet? To clarify, I was fine with them helping me go to the tub, but my GF knew I was uncomfortable with her friends being there, and trust me, she did not need their help. I've cleaned her up before, and she's cleaned me up once before, and she did it on her own. These are her friends, not mine. We don't have a relationship. They touched me all over while I was vulnerable and without clothes. That's disgusting, and they 100% knew what they were doing wrong. We've all gotten drunk before. We're in college, it happens. Not often, but every now and then, and we help each other out. But my girlfriend had permission to help me out, not her friends. Just like how she gives me permission to help her out, not her friends. They all stayed there. They knew they should have left. I told them to stop. Anyway, the point isn't that, it's the update. I was staying at my friend's house, and he was on my side, thankfully. My GF stopped by to talk when he was out and showed up at the door. When I saw her through the peephole, the first thing I did was start a video on my phone in my pocket. She started explaining to me they were helping me out, and I needed their help. I cut her off and asked her how she'd feel if my friends and I bathed her. She got quiet and said it wasn't the same thing. Girls are more vulnerable than boys, and it was her and her friends' natural maternal instinct to take care of me. I asked her real talk, why didn't she tell her friends to leave? She didn't say anything for a while, and then after some grilling she finally replied she did, but they asked to stay because they didn't think she could handle it herself. I asked why she didn't say no because she knew she could. She's done it once before, and she said they wanted to stay, so she let them. They said, just in case, and insisted. So what's the harm? I asked why, and she shrugged. She started crying. I asked her why they didn't leave me in my boxers. She said they were dirty. I said no, she could have easily poured water with a handheld shower head, and they would have cleaned. I puked on my shirt. I asked her again, but she stayed firm on them being dirty, and she definitely had to remove them. She sort of shut off then, but I told her I wouldn't be able to forgive her if she didn't tell me exactly what happened and why. I hugged her and said I had to know or else we were done. She was hesitant, but I swore up and down I wouldn't take it to the police. I just wanted to know. She finally agreed, and I asked if they heard me tell them to stop, and she said she had heard me say something and shake my head, but she didn't know what I said. I went back to our place after the conversation, and after she went to sleep, I took out her phone. Yes, okay, I'm a snoop, I'm wrong, but I had to know. We know each other's passwords, so I opened it and went to her texts. I texted them from her, asking if they knew what I had mumbled. One claimed not to have heard anything. The other two admitted they'd heard me mumble stop, but I was drunk and needed their help. I screenshotted the texts. There were some texts directly after the event where one commented, "Well, that was fun." Maybe sarcastic, maybe not. Nevertheless, I don't like it. I left afterward, back to my friend's place, and texted my GF. I wasn't quite ready to continue our relationship, but we'd see how it went. The reason I'm posting this is because I want some advice. I have evidence of what they did, screenshots of texts, and a voice recording. The question I'm asking now is, should I take it to the RA or the assault department? I know now they chose to stay in there after my GF asked them to leave and my GF let them stay in there. I know they physically bathed me when I was immobile and didn't need more than one person. But is this reason enough to go to authorities? I haven't told our mutuals about the incident because it may lead to ostracization, and I don't know where I want to go with this. I'm not ready to let it go, but should I report it? Our college has a firm policy on things like this. It's not a little thing. They investigate all claims, whatever they are, carefully. Better ask judgment-free internet strangers than actual people in my life. Let me have it, guys.